What if Counterpart Health, the subsidiary of Clover Health that most common investors have never even heard of, eventually became bigger than Clover's entire insurance business? Today, we're looking at Counterpart's growing partner network, an infrastructure signal involving Humana, and why the long-term bull case here is not about an insurance company. It's about a tech platform that has a health insurance company attached to it, strictly to test and prove that technology actually works. Unlike their competitors, who have been called data conference booth dreamers by some people. Let's go ahead and dig into this. Counterpart Health humbly started as Clover Assistant, the AI tool Clover's own doctors use at the point of care. Now it is being licensed out, and the partner list Counterpart publicly displays on its own site spans 6 completely different areas. Duke Connected Care demonstrated deployment within its major academic health system, the hardest customer type in healthcare to win, because academic institutions scrutinize clinical tools harder than anyone else. The Iowa Clinic demonstrated adoption within independent physician-owned practices, which tells you the tool works without a giant IT department standing behind it. Southern Illinois Healthcare expanded deployment into rural and community healthcare, where physicians' time is stretched to the absolute thinnest. Google Cloud provides AI infrastructure through Vertex AI, supporting Counterpart's platform. The Heart House extended Counterpart into specialty cardiology care, its first specialty deployment. Ascend Medical and Vanguard Medical Group broadened the footprint across physician practices and value-based care groups. And then there is HealthTap, which is different from all of them. HealthTap is a nationwide virtual care platform in its own right, which suggests Counterpart can extend beyond traditional provider organizations into digital healthcare platforms as well. This is not a customer list or just a list in general confined to one niche. It's a massive wedge into almost every part of how care gets delivered. And in case you were wondering how confident this team is internally, Counterpart's own VP of Enterprise Growth, in a personal LinkedIn post, called unnamed competitors data conference booth dreamers. That's not an official company statement, just one executive's very honest opinion. But it tells you the swagger inside this company is absolutely massive. Here's the part that very few people who cover Clover are actually talking about. Each of Counterpart's publicly announced partnerships appears to have been preceded by discoverable infrastructure consistent with partner-specific subdomains. The same pattern is now showing up under Humana's subdomains, and this time it's not just a bare subdomain. An independent infrastructure analysis posted by Zahir Karp identified assets consistent with FHIR data pipelines, clinical and patient data services, EHR connectivity, and machine learning infrastructure. In plain English, that is not what a placeholder looks like. That is what an active integration looks like. To be clear, neither company has actually confirmed this yet. There's no 8K, no press release yet. But similar infrastructure patterns preceded several previously announced partnerships before. Let's ask ourselves this. Why would a giant like Humana even consider running clinical AI built by a competitor? Hmm? Because building this internally takes years. It requires clinical validation most payers do not have. And the industry trend right now is consolidation into proven vendors instead of building in house. If the tool demonstrably closes care gaps, the fact that a competitor built it matters less than the fact that it works. Here's why this actually matters for patients, not just the stock. Because most of us are here because we want to actually see good things happen in the world and play a role in that, even if it's just a small ownership role. Counterpart gives a physician a second set of eyes during the patient's visit, flagging care gaps and conditions that get missed in a 15-minute appointment. That matters the absolute most in home health and primary care, where the doctor rarely has time to read a patient's full chart before walking into the room. Counterpart's published validation studies report meaningful jumps in diagnosis rates for conditions like chronic kidney disease and diabetes. Across the broader Medicare population, those conditions go undiagnosed by the millions. Earlier detection can mean outpatient treatment instead of a hospital admission, and that difference compounds across every patient the system touches. It leaves the people with a better understanding of their health. This is genuinely impactful and important for everybody, not just the senior citizens, but God knows they do need it. Now, that kind of earlier detection is worth real money, and this is where the incentives get interesting. Earlier diagnosis has the potential to reduce expensive downstream complications. The hospitalizations and emergency visits that come with a disease that gets caught late. To be fair, catching a condition early can actually increase spending in the short term. More prescriptions, more follow-ups, more testing. However, the real economic argument is that better preventative care can lower overall healthcare spending over time while improving plan economics. And the government is already structured to reward this. CMS pays star bonus money for quality measures. Counterpart is the quality measures that Counterpart is designed to help improve. This is in part why Clover went from 3.5 stars to 4.5 stars when getting re-rated. The quality of care is genuinely improved by Counterpart assistance, and we see that in their outcomes. CMS has spent years building value-based care programs that pay for outcomes instead of volume. Counterpart is not fighting the regulatory direction of managed care, it's riding it. So here is the long-term bull case. Clover's insurance business is capital intensive, geographically limited, and capped by regulation on what it can actually charge. Counterpart is a different kind of business entirely. It is software, and if it scales successfully, software businesses typically carry substantially higher margins than insurance ever possibly can. This potential market extends beyond physician practices and payers, ACOs, and value-based care enablement organizations, which, not coincidentally, is exactly who Counterpart's own website says that it serves. There is also a flywheel here, and it might be the most underrated part of the thesis. More physicians using Counterpart means more patients encountering the flowing through the platform. More encounters means more clinical feedback. More feedback makes the model smarter. and a smarter model wins more customers, which starts the loop again. That is the classic data flywheel that makes software businesses compound, and it is very hard for late arriving competitors to replicate this because the data advantage grows with every single visit. The bull case: Counterpart licensing revenue eventually exceeds Clover's own insurance segment, and Clover becomes a software company that happens to also run an insurance plan. The base case: Counterpart keeps signing health systems and practices steadily, a solid supplemental business while insurance stays the core. And the bear case: adoption could stall outside of Clover's own network. The flywheel never actually spins, and this stays a marketing story. I don't believe that at all. 3 quick things. Counterpart's publicly displayed partners already span academic medicine, rural care, cardiology, value-based care, and digital health platforms. The Humana infrastructure signal is unconfirmed, but it is consistent with patterns observed before several prior partnership announcements. And 3, if Counterpart scales, the software business could end up mattering more than the insurance company that actually built it. Subscribe so you do not miss my future Clover Health content. A quick reminder: I am not a financial advisor. Everything you've seen today is for educational purposes only and reflects my personal research as a hobby. Nothing here should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Like, subscribe, do your own due diligence. Stay bullish, friends. Have a great day. Before you go, if you want to institutionalize your research process, consider securing lifetime access to ALSTOCKTRADES. Founded by Dr. Albert Allen, the platform gives you permanent, uninterrupted access to over 60 advanced analytical tools and more than 40 years of historical data, all without any necessary recurring subscription fees. To lock in this long-term value, click the link in my description down below. Use code DRAGON at checkout and take a massive $2,300 off your lifetime membership. Replace market speculation with objective, data-driven conviction today. I'll see you in the next video.